This one is for the girlies underneath that video saying that they are going to just escape the US by only dating foreigners from now on. Listen, as somebody who married a foreigner and who has been in those circles, I please only be joking. Please only be joking. Falling in love and moving abroad is a very legitimate thing. You want your family to be together, you fall in love with a person, it happens. It can be such a fantastic, beautiful thing. But it can also, if you're only doing it for immigration purposes, put you in an extremely unhealthy relationship dynamic and make you more likely to be a victim of abuse. When I was an immigrant living in France, Lyon, France to be precise, there was actually a woman who was murdered who lived 2 or 3 streets down from us while I was living in that neighborhood. And people who interviewed the family and were figuring out information found out that she was in fact scared for her life, but more scared that she was going to lose her immigration status if he were to get convicted of anything, if she were to turn him into the cops. If you marry somebody and move to their country, you need to really trust them, literally with your life, because they will have more information about how the legal system in that country works. They'll be in a position that is much easier for them to manipulate you. They could put you in a spot where if they leave you or if something happens to them, you lose your right to live in the country where you're currently living, and then you have to either move back home, which you might not be able to afford to do, or risk living and staying in that country as a temporarily undocumented immigrant, which also comes with tons of problems and will make your life and safety very precarious. But there are literally women who get murdered for going down that path. So please only marry for reasons that will not get you killed. I would say marry only for love, but I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge anyone's circumstances. But marrying for immigration purposes is extremely dangerous and will definitely make you an easier target for domestic violence. There are even men in America, if you go on those incel forums, who specifically hope to marry a girl from abroad because then they will be able to abuse her more easily. And they talk about that openly. Like, this is a known fact, especially in communities of abusers. They try to target women from abroad that are trying to leave their country, so please be careful. And just to clarify, I am safe and super happy, but not everybody who makes that choice is in a safe spot. I 100% married for love, and it did make the visa process infinitely easier than it would have been had I just tried to go based on qualifications and things like that. It absolutely did. It made it easier to move abroad, and it also made it easy then when my husband and I moved to Canada. It made it easier for him because he was married to me. It definitely makes things easier immigration-wise, but please never, ever get married just for the immigration papers, because you are setting yourself up for a very dangerous power dynamic. And I would even say, even if you qualify and you're in a genuine, real, loving marriage relationship, before you move to a foreign country where you don't know what your rights will be, to talk to some sort of lawyer or someone who understands marriage laws in the country where you're going to, because even if you don't re-sign your marriage contract, often the laws of the place where you're living will apply to your marriage. And being married is one of the biggest and most influential contracts you will ever sign in your entire life, and you should know what you're signing. You should know what you're getting into before you leave your country, leave your safety net, leave family and friends that could bail you out if the situation were to get really crappy real fast. There's a lot of safety issues that need to be taken into account. I know a lot of people under the last video were just joking, but also on a serious note, please do it smartly and in taking into account all of the potential problems that could come of that.